Been an absolute disaster with technology, getting this thing up and going, but I think we are away now, and I apologise for the delay. And if you heard any foul language, as we did our best to get this thing going. Okay, so well, been a long one. Okay, we're going to start looking at race. We're doing race 5 of the Valley. Obviously, I hoped to do a little bit more sooner. I'm just going to log in. Log into this computer, which I haven't done yet. And we're going to talk about just like pricing on the run. We're going to talk about adapting on the run. And yeah. Handling adversity, handling technical difficulties and not letting it affect us mentally. So race 5, race 4 didn't go to plan. I was against the favourite, but not massively. I backed Willow's horse, the Kent horse, and Waller's horse. So now we start. I'm just going to take you through this race, which I hope I have priced. Okay, so you should be able to see my PuntingForm page, right? So I'm going to the form, Moonee Valley, and you can see throughout the meeting as they run, which we're going to talk about a fair bit tonight, I will map them where they settled at about the 6 or the 7, 800 to identify a pattern. Now, the first 2 races, 2,000 meter races, so they're a little bit unique, not that overly relevant to the actual pattern that you're going to get on a race day, a race night. Then we saw, I missed the 4th race because I was trying to get onto this thing, which is very frustrating. Anyway, first 3 and run, 1 race 3, which is a sprint trip. Same story. I think it was a similar story in race 4. And here's our map for race 5. Now, I have backed the 9 and the 7, who I hope predict settle first 4 in run. I'll open up that now. Okay, so that's this race here. Here's my map. And I'm going to get up our worksheets, which is all I want to talk about tonight in depth. And I want to answer any questions you have about worksheets in depth. So I'm going to share my worksheet with my prices for this race. So as you can see, I make New Choice a $20 chance. I make Confrontational a $60 chance. I make Brian Epstein a $7.50 chance. Ripplebrook Millions. Saatchi, I make $2.50. Soachi, Pinch of Luck 30s. Not even going to try and pronounce that. The 9, I make it $3.80, and Ancient Egypt $10. So I'm against Ancient Egypt, who's in the market, and I'm with the 7 Soachi, and I'm with the 9, whatever we're going to call that horse. Now, 25 minutes out, 25 seconds out. Let's have a look what the market's done. So the market sort of come to me. So I took an early position on the 7 and the 9. I'm against the 10 hard. Didn't like the 8. It's soft. There's a lot of money for New Choice. New Choice, there was money for New Choice through the middle of the day today, and there's money now. Brian Epstein's soft. So if you wanted to, there's no point to, but you could readjust your price and sort of tighten up New Choice, but I'm not going to bother. They've just jumped now. So this is the key part. We want to make sure throughout a race meeting, and this is what I love about PuntingForm. Firstly, I can make a price, and I can make notes now from this run, a note on this race, really importantly, and I can map them where they are. So Brian Epstein's kicked up, which has pushed New Choice, I think. I don't even know. New Choice has gone back to last. So Ollie's 3 back the fence on this horse here. It's not ideal. That's the horse we wanted to be with. That's the horse I am with. That's the map as they sort of get into the busy part of this race, right? So I save that like that. I'm going to move this bar, bro. Righto. So Willow travels pretty well. He's about to crack it and roll in on the horse inside him. Confrontational travels. Ollie goes okay. Pinch of Luck travels deluxe, needs a run. So it's a 600-meter race. I've got it wrong, but I think most of the market will have too, because Confrontational is a big price. So straight away, first thing I do, I've already settled them where they settled, right? They were the first 2 home. New Choices run 3rd, settled last. So you could say like rear swoopers suited. Now we talked about this in the first masterclass. That's going to be in your punting form forever. So as soon as that I've saved that, the next time any of these horses go to the races, I've got a note on this race as my own opinion, as well as all the data they give us, which is very, very handy, right? Bear with me though. I'm just going to go and do it here. So what's interesting to me right now is that when I preview this meeting and even the 600-meter race, I anticipate that it's going to be on pace suited. And we've seen, well, I've seen 4 of the 5 races in detail, and 3 of them have been rear, if anything, suited, but certainly not on pace only suited. Ollie got off and gave a really key bit of information that's a really firm track tonight, and there is a bit of wind around. So on another screen, I have, and you should have like that meeting data, which Caulfield, Flemington, and Moonee Valley do a really good job of. You can find the wind at like live as it is now from your home. I'm just going to get up my prices for the next race, and we can build them into this worksheet. If you have any questions right now, shoot them into Jono, or shoot them into the YouTube comments, and the boys are going to feed them to me, and I'll get straight back to them straight away. All right. So the next race is a 955, which can grow you up, right? So I'm confident it's an on-pace suited track normally. It's not looking like it is. I'm even more confident the 955s are on-pace suited. So we head to the next race. I've got like a nude punting form here, so I've got to transfer some of my own work across to this one. So bear with me as I try and survive what's been a stressful little evening thus far. Okay. So I always start with a map. Turn off that price because I don't like it. Bold off it to there. Tightens the So this is where I think they're going to settle, which will justify my betting decisions if I make any, right? Or the decisions which are just as important not to bet. Okay. I don't use this worksheet traditionally or for myself as a previewing tool other than the map, but I strongly recommend, and I did start by pricing using this setup. And this setup is something that PuntingForm is committed to improving, and they're working on right now. I'm helping. So it's a phenomenal tool to teach you how to price and adjust on the run. So I'm going to put in my prices now that I made today at about, I don't know, 2 o'clock. That I finalized today at 2 o'clock, and now we're pretty sure it's not as on-pace suited as we thought. So I need to adjust those prices and soften the edge I've given to leaders. So get up, Bruce. Now I'm going to use a different type of rating to make it quick and smooth for me, because we've had a meltdown technically. I'd already done the 2 races I intended to preview and review. So just to clarify, I did this on the first episode, which you should watch, the first masterclass. A rough chance is an 8. A chance is a 16. A good chance is a 32. A big chance is a 64. And an enormous chance is 128. And you work and halve between them to find a relevant starting point to build your own set of prices. But what I'm going to do is just use the actual percentages that I've made these horses their winning chance, which I'm going to put into here. I think will work in regard to forming a price. Right, happy with those prices? Any questions yet? How does a slow run race where they bunch up suit on paces? I don't think they do, as a rule. So it's like an elastic band, and if they stretch it early and they tighten up at the 700 to the 500, the leaders are slowing down for no real reason, and the back markers are catching up with momentum for spending no petrol. If the leaders maintain a sectional or slightly increase it from the 800 to the 200, but the last 200 meters of every race is often the slowest. If the leader increases from the 8 to the 200 in those 200 meter incremental sectionals, which you'll see on your PuntingForm, very, very hard to catch. So often the jockeys will feel like they've done a little bit too much work to get those spots. The leading jockeys, whoever's on the leaders, they'll slow a little bit and try and fill up the lungs, take a breather, all those cliches they love to say. And all the while, the other horses are just building into the race nicely. So they're giving away their advantage. I'd say that when the slow tempo doesn't suit them. Where do we find a speed settling map if we can't spend the time? So if you have a PuntingForm account, they will automatically build you a map for each and every race everywhere, which is off the horse's traditional settling position. So it's not like their gate speed, it's not their traveling speed, it's where they traditionally settle. And then that's part of the art of it. That's where you sort of decide, well, it's Waller inside draw, I anticipate a little bit more intent, or it's Waller wide draw, I anticipate no intent. It's Linda Meach, I think she wants to go forward. You start to use your own brain, and that's why I really think it's worthwhile focusing on one jurisdiction so you have a really good grip on on your trainers and your riders, so you can try to figure out, which you never completely will, and you'll go mental at the same time, but try your best to figure out what their patterns are, what their habits are, so you can try and put these horses in a good spot map-wise, because it's key. So if we look at this race, back to this race, I think that's all the questions for now. Southern Speed settles at the back. Jezelenko's cast. Jagged Edge is cast. Now, I will have hammered them from a map point of view because of how I anticipate the races are going to be run at Moonee Valley. So the decision you get to make, and you have to make, and you need to make yourself, and this ties into making like actual betting decisions, not just I'm going to back that horse, is, well, I think Jezelenko's an $11.70 chance right now. That's what I've decided that horse was this morning. Now that's a really big opinion to have, because the horse is well in the market. It's what price is it? So it's $5, and I'm saying it's $7.70 chance. So I'm laying it as a bookmaker. I'm trying to lay that horse now, and I'm basing that decision largely off its map. So I now have to make a decision. Well, what price is it? So you can go in here and say, look, I'm going to change that to an 8 because I'm not going to be as negative on it, and its price will change a point. So it goes from 11 whatever to a 1060, and you can work from there. I'm happy taking it on still. I'm going to leave the map positions as I had them because it's still a 955. It's a little bit different to a 600-meter race. And I'm going to trust that it's on speed suited. They're probably going to go mad. They often do. And sometimes they do swoop. But yeah, I've had a bet at Titans who, with some scratchings, I'd say I've beaten SP like by not much at all, but I haven't lost. So I'm in a position where I could continue to bet if I'm just thinking of it as a punter, or I could, just sort of let it ride. So, yeah, I don't know what else I'm up to. It's been a big night. Supposed to start an hour ago. So there, the main thing I wanted to talk about is pre-race mapping, post-race mapping, and using them both to adjust your numbers to make better betting decisions, which is my favorite thing about PuntingForm. So these maps are so easy to move. You can change them up all day. You can change them up through a meeting. You can print them off before you want. If you want to keep them as they are, I love them. We'll probably get the horses in the yard shortly, which we'll go through a little bit too. I'll have a little look at that tonight, and I'll pass on anything I sort of see on the racing.com vision that I could pass on to you guys. If you've got any questions in the meantime, a little bit of a lull here while I wait for him in the yard, shoot them through real quick for me. I think another thing to talk about is so like tonight's a perfect example. There's decent racing, and I love betting. You got Canterbury, Cranbourne, Moonee Valley. We had Port Lincoln or somewhere on. I think I might have just finished. Got the cricket on. You can get lost and drowned in doing way too much, in my opinion. Some people like to have systems, and they work off a system. Full credit to you. If you too good for me. But to try and get a proper grip, like we just spoke about on trainers, jockeys, building profiles, I think it's too much. So I make the decision tonight just to focus on Moonee Valley. I post race map Cranbourne because it's Victoria and I want to know what happened and I want to be able to form opinions and mark horses as not suited and suited, as we spoke about on episode 1 of this little series. And we've got 2 more questions now. What are you looking for in the yard? Obviously not related to PuntingForm, but just curious. I'll get onto that when they come into the yard. Adrian, Bradley, as a punter, if you've taken an early price and you're comfortably beating the late Betfair price, do you ever lay it off? Or do you look at backing other prices that have since drifted? I'd never lay it off myself, but I think it's really, really important that you have a system that you stick to so that you can avoid the greatest punish to everyone in this game is head noirs. You just want to keep it simple, know how you're going to handle each situation in the same way every time, so you don't have to think about it and grow yourself up. I don't lay back. I might look to take another position or chop a horse, but if you're laying back, you're essentially backing every other horse after sort of being right. So you've taken a position and you've beaten the market, and then you're sort of dogging it, in my opinion. But you could do it. Just always do it if that's what you do. I don't think we're going to have a phenomenal position on Titans. But to be honest, the older I get, the sort of less I bet per se. Like I'm having less bets. I'm just trying to have good bets all the time. So I'm happy with Titans. If I look at my numbers, I don't know why my big computer behind you guys has turned off. Just give me a second to fix that. I'll look at my laying off or like I'm never going to lay off. Backing other horses will all come down to my prices and my map. And it'll just be like bet regret. Like, well, I'm in a great spot here. If this thing gets me, am I going to be filthy about it or is it just a bad beat? Or like, make that decision. This race here, I think the favorite I hated as this big beast just slowly turns on. Just get my prices up on this big one. This will make my life a lot better. I already feel a bit better. I needed this, and I got it. Don't update. Close. All right. Yeah, so Lady Jones knocked us off, but I made Lady Jones $2.10, so not a mile away. Feel okay there. Gonna get up some odds over here so I can start looking at this properly. I like dynamic odds. Obviously, I'm bookmaking now, so I kind of want to watch them all a bit. But I like seeing where they're moving, what's happening. You can have Betfair on there. You can have all the plastics on there, us included. So I get up race 6 at Moonee Valley. So just back to Adrian's question, yard. So Titans, look at his head, nice and low, stretching out. Nice definition through his ass, good shoulder. That's a very nice parade. I feel good about my bet. I feel good about myself right now. It'll probably be different in 11 minutes. It's not my night by the look of it with what's happened thus far, but I thought it was a good parade. Much better walk than the 2. Chosen Blonde sort of walks a bit stiff, thinking a bit, not going too straight. Looks nice and fit and strong. Chewing on the bit a little bit there. Don't love that. Nice strong strapper though. Sweet bellas, 1 second, honestly. Give it away. Right, so this horse, the 3, is favourite at the moment. Walks well, looks fit. Has it got the Hobbs? No, it's not Hobson. DJ Bourne. I wonder if that is that Will Bourne's dad. Don't know. Horse looks well. Bold offers a nice parade. Nice stretch to the walk. Head nice and low. Strapper's not worried about it. Walks well. You don't need horses to be fit either. 955. Doesn't matter if they're fat. It's like, front rowers. This is a little like sprint, not a fitness. This isn't a fitness contest. This is like a power contest more so. Continuous. It's got a lot of gear on it. Looks a little bit toey, a bit jig-joggy there. A little bit of a tail swish. This also got the shits. But see, the strap is nice and pretty relaxed, so it's probably just the horse. I always try and see the balance between the strapper and the horse, because they know these guys, they were with them all the time. Anyway, where was I? Any more questions? Get a race 5. All right, so we've got our prices here. So this is what you could do. This is not what I do. I just stick to my prices. But this is what you could do. This is why PuntingForm is phenomenal. Because to get this sort of stuff without it, I don't know what you'd do. But we could turn this to like a 22 for a phenomenal parade. Chosen Blonde, I hated the parade. Turn it down. See the prices changing, and your opinion can too, and your betting decisions follow. Nice parade in due time. Turn it up a bit. Bold offer. Ugh. Continuance. Hard to read. Jockey's on now. These other horses. Hobson's pretty good at Moonee Valley, and I'd like to see if he's strapping it. I think he is. He straps them, they go faster. I don't know why, but they always have. 13's Toey. We're against it anyway. So the horse that so with our prices, so we make continuance a $9 chance, right? It's currently $17 on the fair, $13 on the corpse. I'd say it's going to drift to go out to that 17 price. And that's a big decision for us to make now, isn't it? So it doesn't really matter how it paraded, how I thought it paraded, because it's such a gap in the price. Leave me alone. How do you come up with the percentage chance of winning? Do you use an algorithm? Well, I don't really know how it works. Like, I just put in all the stuff I put into a sort of a deeper version of this that we've built. But what I'm tipping you should start doing is the chance scale that I picked up somewhere, and it works. So unlikely of 4, rough chance an 8, chance of 16, good chance 32, big chance 64, very big chance 128. And from there, you can sort of figure it out, and you can figure out your percentages off that. I've just got another thing where it just tells you the percentage. I don't actually know how it does it. So I guess it is an algorithm. But it's just representing your opinion. Like, you're just learning as you price, you start to understand what, like, a lot more. So if I'm saying Titans is a $3.80 chance, well, I can't say they're all, under $10. Well, that's just bullshit. I shouldn't swear, but it's not going to win, is it? So we're seeing continuance get out now. $15 a few places. Still $12 a baggie, and we'll be staying there. In due time. So it's still very, very short. And I'm going to just move the price a little bit for baggybet.com. Just see if we can. So we'll go 390. Top of the market, see what happens. Obviously, I think it's a very big chance to win the race at 440, but that's where I'm talking about price. So I think it's pretty well found. It's going to need a very, very good ride from barrier one, like a very, very good ride. He's capable of doing it, Ethan Brown, no doubt. But tricky little spot. See what happens in the last little bit. I'd say Jezelenko is going to drift late. So 2 minutes out. The betting will get real serious right now. I don't really have a script tonight, so it's just what I do. The betting's going to get really serious now, and it's going to revolve around Titans, Chosen Blonde, In Due Time, and Jezelenko. 2 are probably going to firm, 2 are probably going to drift. That's just what happens. It looks like In Due Time's going to firm. It's just a matter of if I, as a bookie, get hit here. And we'll find out. Titans is going to tighten up. I think Chosen Blonde's going to tighten up too. Jezelenko's the one that'll drift. So I'm going to try and lay it. We're a minute out from the jump. Nessa's just got a wicket in the cricket. It's all happening. We could be back. So I'm bigger than Betfair as a bookmaker right now in due time, which is scary. But a few of them are with me. So let's see what happens. Amelia, I don't understand the question. So I'm using PuntingForm.com.au sectional database all the time. So for a for younger horses, lightly raced horses, can they win a maiden horses? I love using the class benchmark. I spoke about this a fair bit, I think, in the first episode of these series that we're doing. When we're talking about sort of particularly the carnival horses, the good group horses, I prefer to use the all average benchmark. The all average benchmark, the class benchmark, is basically a translation of a raw sectional time into a number that's pretty much a lot easier to consume and compare against other horses. So they might run a certain time on a soft 7 one day, and then they run a different time on a good 3. And the algorithms within PuntingForm have proven to work for me, and they work for a lot of people. And they can draw that number into a benchmark that you can consume and you can use to form opinion. That's what we're talking about. We talked a lot about how we can build an opinion in the first episode. Tonight, I'm sort of just more talking about betting, using the worksheet, building a quick set of prices and adjusting on the run. So we jump now. Yeah, Jesselinko drifted. The other three sort of firms, and I've laid the three. I've already backed one, and I've laid 9 and 10. So Titans leads, Chosen Blonde. Continuance, in due time's way too far back, I think. I think Titans got pony. I think it's got a lot of pony, guys. Hit it. Hit it. Oh, the thing I laid's going to win. Too good. I didn't even mean to lay that horse. Well, I did. Is that Talia Hope? I don't know, actually. Okay, so now we get to reviewing straight away. Moving on. So where'd that horse come from in the run? I was sort of watching Titans, to be honest, at the end there. So I just rewind it on your Foxtel or whatever you're using, and I might pause it at, say, when they come out of that first shoot, they get past the school here, just gone past the 600. I'll pause it now and just sort of put them into their spots where they were. So it looked like Bold Offer, Chosen Blonde, first sort of three horses. Continuance, I think it's She's the Sheriff. And I think it's the winner 3 wide with cover. Chosen Blonde gave it a toe. G'day Gorgeous has Southern fronts back. The favourite was back and Buried Rails and Run. Not a good spot to be almost ever. And Jesselinko was back and wide. So there's starting to be a bit of a pattern in there. So wide and running on is not bad here. So Jesselinko's in the finish. Southern fronts the winner. They're 3 wide cover, both of them, midfield and last. I think Titans, no, it probably doesn't run third. G'day Gorgeous. So there you go. Pattern identification. This is the whole point of what I wanted to do tonight. So we pause. I've paused that, but I've also got another TV running it live. So I know the finish. The first 3 horses home are 3 wide with cover. That is the complete opposite to how I read this meeting as an analyst and as a pricer. So I'm completely greyed up. I'll make a note for when I'm reviewing this meeting. First 3 home. Three wide cover. Now that note, as I said before, will be there forever. Win the midfield. Something like that, just so I know what I'm talking about when I'm reading it. It doesn't have to be, just has to be consistent sort of language that you use so you understand it. Now you can make a note here like not suited, back and buried. Now that note will stay with that horse forever, but particularly next start. So here's a horse that's been really well backed, started $3, well, $3.70 at Baggy, $3.30 at some joints. And just not been suited. It's never going to win from that position in run, and not going to win versus the shape of this race. We've got evidence now. We see it right here that this was the spot to be in that 3 wide line. It's not a very common thing, but it's what's happening tonight. Full credit to Chosen Blonde, who paraded like no good and just towed them all into the race. Nice ride on Jesselinko. The deep thinking Daniel Moore. He's a good rider. So I might have watched the last little bit now a few times. So it's not a lot in it. It's a bunch finish. It's pretty typical of a 955. I'll have another quick look at the start, see if I can see anything that's of interest to me. Not really. I think Jesselinko sort of, he snicked pretty hard. He probably could have gone a bit quicker. So I'm going to say not suited. snick early for spot because he was drawn too wide and he had to make a decision. He's a deep thinker and a good rider, so he's made the call that he doesn't want to get caught in a speed battle and be 4 or 5 wide. So he's taken a hold there. So I'd say off the top of my head right now, Jezelenko is one of the better runs inside this race. It's going to come out of it with a $6 SP, which is respectable, and it's going to present as a potential betting opportunity next start. Now, when you go to look at that next race and it comes up as a potential bet for you off your prices, and you can see in your notes on your PuntingForm, not suited, snick early, I was drawn barrier 8 of, a 12-horse field, and now it's drawn barrier 4. They're big ticks. And you want those big ticks to make good decisions and be confident to make decisions. Knocked off by Hannah originally. Okay, any more questions? That'll probably do us if there's no more questions. It's been a long night. We'll do a lot more of these moving forward, hopefully, in a little bit of a smoother setup. So, yeah, as I said, those notes, you can make as many notes as you want. I highly recommend you make notes and you make prices. I don't do a heap of it anymore, but that's just where I've got to with what I do. But I really like it, set me up really well doing it that way. You can add a heap of notes for whatever you want. It's a really, really valuable tool. And to learn like the guts of how to form an opinion on a price, go back through to the first episode of this little series. And I think you'll find a fair bit there to sort of get you started. If you have any real deep questions about PuntingForm or stuff you'd like done in detail next start in episode 3, email jack@themailbag.com.au and I'll try and get back to you, and I'll definitely try and put into the next episode. Well, I wasn't top odds that winner, Shane. I was just like with the market, actually. But it was disappointing because we were top odds and aggressive, a nice percentage overall, and we were taking on the favourite, and we got that right, but we'd got beaten. So it's disappointing. But yeah, jack@themailbag.com.au. If you have any questions about your PuntingForm, I'm really happy to answer them. If you have a request for the next episode of things you want to deep dive into, I want to keep these shorter and sharper and more focused. If you have any questions about what just happened, email me. I'll get back to you when I can. I hope you enjoyed it, and that'll be it for me.